A second Michigan high school in as many weeks is seeking to censor a Christian student's speech, and now the attorneys are involved. The principal at John Glenn High School in Westland, Michigan, reportedly told graduating senior Savannah Leffler to remove her Christian viewpoint from her honors night remarks. So, is it legal? Well, let's discuss with the co-chair of the Hometown Values PAC, attorney Ethan Bearman, and criminal defense attorney David Bruno. Welcome back to both of you, gentlemen. Great to see you.
Hello, Shannon.
Hi, Shannon.
Okay, we'll start with this. This is an excerpt from the student's speech. So what is the goal for our future generation? It ultimately reflects the purpose of life. What is our purpose? The purpose of life is to live a life devoted to Christ. Westminster Catechism number 1, the chief purpose for which man is made is to glorify God and to enjoy him forever. David, the principal, said, not so fast.
Yeah, no, I disagree with the principal. I mean, first off, there's a convergence of constitutional rights here. The Valedictorian has the right to free speech and the free exercise of religion. And then also the Establishment Clause prohibits the government from establishing religion. You know, but all we have to do is look to the United States Department of Education guidelines here, because it says that the valedictorian speech is not an expression of the school and therefore may not be restricted because of religious content or because of even prayer. So that's really the lay of the land here, and the school really shouldn't go to this length. And the letter from First Liberty is right on point. And the school should take a step back, in my opinion.
So the principal clearly worried, as many school administrators do, about crossing a line, getting into legal trouble. Is this going to be viewed as a message from the school? This is what the principal said. Unfortunately, we are a public educational institution and must legally abide by the First Amendment of the U.S. Constitution. Through past Supreme Court cases, rulings have stated that government institutions, including public schools, cannot favor one religion over any others. This would include honor speeches, since it would be an official communication from the school. And Ethan, apparently the school was worried that other faiths may be offended because they weren't all included, and that this was very specific to one particular faith. Right or wrong?
Yeah, well, I mean, I have to agree with my esteemed colleague. First of all, the principal is just wrong here, at least on the law. Now, just because something is legal doesn't mean that it's always the right thing to do. It doesn't mean it's the courteous or conscientious thing to do. Please, and I always warn my friends on these religious liberty topics. So she's Christian, and maybe that's in favor for certain groups. But the next valedictorian who may want to talk about their religion could be a member of the Church of Satan, and they have the exact same protections. And so if we want to bring religion into these certain areas, all religions are equal under the eyes of the law, exactly as David pointed out. The government cannot choose one over the other. You know, we should be a little careful sometimes not to offend everybody in the audience. You don't have to by the law, but sometimes it's still the right thing to do.
Well, David, you mentioned First Liberty has gotten involved with this. Their general counsel, Mike Berry, and their senior counsel as well, says this: too often we have seen well-meaning school officials thinking they are complying with the Establishment Clause mistakenly go too far and censor the private speech of students, violating students' rights under the Free Speech Clause. It is graduation season. We were talking about during the commercial. I get an email, I think every few days right now, outlining one of these situations. If First Liberty is on target there, then why do schools so misunderstand this?
Yeah, I mean, they're being careful. And unfortunately, not every school has the advice of First Liberty on these issues. But also what the school could do is they can come out and do some disclaimer if they want. If they feel so firmly about this, then let the audience know that this is not the view generally of the school. And that should be general knowledge when the valedictorian speaks, because she's talking about the purpose of life and her experience. But if they're so careful, do a disclaimer. I think that would be the second best thing to do.
All right, very quick wrap up from you, Ethan.
Yeah, I totally agree. Just do a neutral disclaimer before and possibly after the speech, and just learn the lesson here. A valedictorian speech is protected. And again, schools have the right to censor students in many other areas, but when it comes to religion, and particularly a speech like this, the school needs to step out of the way and just do a neutral disclaimer.
All right, students, there you go. Our legal eagles agree on this one tonight. Ethan and David, thank you both very much.
Good night, Shannon. Thank you.